Blessings, everyone. It is such a beautiful day today. It just being outside and seeing everything is on its way blooming. There's so many spring flowers and bulbs that have been out in the garden, and today to see the dandelions coming up, and I've seen some honeybees around, so that was a gift. And I love to make dandelion tea, and I juice the greens. So once they're more established and the bees have had a good first feast on them, then I'm going to start to pick them and make the tea and the juice. And that is absolutely delicious with a little honey. If you just cut the flower part from the dandelion and steep that, could put it in some mash, or I just put it into the cup with some boiling water and let it seep for a little bit, and then I just add honey, and it's really beautiful. It's a wonderful treat. So today I've been pulled to the Connect to the Spirits of Nature card, and that is by Dr. Stephen Farmer. This is his oracle deck, and I love these cards because it is vast. It touches on every part of nature, from the elements to the creatures, so it gives a beautiful reading. I would like to say thank you to all of creation, to Creator, Source, for this beautiful day and breath of life in all of us. Please allow me to be a channel of light for a message today to inspire for the highest good. Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to shuffle. I always say this, I do 3 shuffles. One is Source or Creator, Spirit, and then Soul. 2. 3. And I'm just going to take 1 card. Hopefully it'll come out. Usually when they pull up or fall out, I take that. If not, what I do is I put them in a pile. I separate the 3, which it doesn't seem, well, here we go. Here's 1. Okay, Spirit wants me to take this one. Butterfly, Regeneration. I had a feeling this one was going to come up today because I've been seeing a lot of butterflies on my timeline, and actually a friend in my timeline today was wearing a shirt that I absolutely love, and it was kind of saying like that it's time for the metamorphosis. And so if you're watching, thank you. That really was an inspiration today. But it's interesting because it's number 3, and 3 is the Trinity. So right away what I'm hearing, because I will read from the book, I like what Dr. Farmer has to say about the butterfly, because he uses a different word. Most of us say transformation, metamorphosis, but he uses the word regeneration with the butterfly. And the 3 being the Trinity, what the guides are saying is that the regeneration is through that, through the Trinity. Again, which is when I shuffle the cards, what I am referring to is Spirit, Source, and Soul. Not in that order. Usually it's Source, then Spirit, then Soul. And before I read from the cards, something that they're asking me to clarify, a lot of people, I understand that they know this because they're in a spiritual journey already, and so if this is information you've heard already, please disregard. But a lot of people have asked about what is the difference between spirit and soul. And so the way I understand it, and I would like to share that and take it if it resonates, is that spirit is the whole. When we are no longer in a physical body, we are the fullness. We are the ocean. If you can imagine the ocean as representing spirit, it's vast, it's a whole. There's many, many droplets of water or different outlets, from rivers to tributaries that come into the ocean. Everything is, the clouds are raining and we're getting the water. So there's different facets to creating the ocean, but we know it as a whole. Soul is taking a cup of that ocean water and placing it on the sand somewhere. Now, some may say that it's no longer the ocean, but if we look at it in a spiritual lens and try to understand the concept of this, is that the cup is containing all the information of the ocean. We can look at it and see that there may be a little bit of life forms in there, bacterias, there's going to be sand, maybe there's going to be some seaweed. Whatever it is that's living in the ocean, there's little bits and pieces of it that may show up in this glass. And if you look under a microscope, you're going to see the same as what is in the whole of the ocean. But this is just a small cup. And with this cup of water, we're traveling with it. So the soul is a part of the whole. The big ocean is the glass of the ocean that incorporates into the body so we can have this breath of life, this experience. So it's just a small part of the whole. And then when the body is no longer needed and we return, we still have our individual aspects. Maybe in the glass now, not only has the bits of the ocean come into the glass of the soul from the spirit, but it's also collected things from the outside. Maybe there's pollen. Maybe there's bits and pieces of a tree that's fallen into the glass now. So now the soul, the glass of water that's from the ocean, has integrated other things. So when it's poured back, it brings back everything that it has gathered, like a suitcase, back to the source. Just like all the tributaries do, and the rain has its pieces of things that it brings to the ocean. So that is my best expression or explanation of what the difference is for the soul and spirit. Spirit is the ocean, it's the whole, and the soul is the glass of water that we have taken on a journey with us from the ocean. Okay, and so I'm going to read Butterfly Regeneration. What they're saying is that they're telling me that regeneration is part of the Trinity. And what we're doing is we're working from soul, which is the glass of water, to spirit, which is the whole, and then returning back to source. And then source then feeds the spirit, which feeds the soul. So in order to have that transformation, that regeneration, that bringing back to life, we need to be in the whole of the three aligned to allow that flow, the light to flow from source through spirit into soul. And then we return. And so they're just, I'm hearing regeneration, Trinity. So let me get in the book. Thank you for being patient with me with this. Oh, it came actually quite fast. Okay. So butterflies begin life as soon as one form and then ends up as another. Transformation and regeneration are their biological destiny. Not only are butterflies astoundingly beautiful, but they also serve to bring a message of rebirth, change, and a promise of a better day. When they appear after a loved one has passed, they are considered to be a messenger from the loved one. The process of transformation begins with the caterpillar ravenously consuming as much as it can, and then encasing itself in a cocoon. Within the chrysalis, the body of the caterpillar dissolves into a mushy goo until certain previously dormant cells that contain the blueprints for the structure of the butterfly are activated. As these cells are activated, a distinctly different physical being is regenerated, even though the DNA is exactly the same for both. The butterfly emergence from the chrysalis portends its essential contribution to the ecology of the planet as a crucial pollinator, while also bringing joy and wonder to anyone that discovers it. And so the message from the butterfly is, life was moving along for you in a relatively steady and predictable way until certain events plunged you into a chaotic cycle from which you are now gradually emerging. You have had to face a number of challenges and have been feeling overwhelmed, questioning all you've come to know, turning inward for answers that don't always come. You may not be aware of it, but this period has served as a gestation period for a major transformation, one where the new you is being regenerated. Although your DNA remains the same, there is a reconstructuring happening, epigenetically similar to the cells that are activated in the butterfly's transformation. Even your physical appearance is noticeably changing, along with the way you carry yourself. You may have an urge to wear brighter, more colorful clothing. You're being called to explore different fun and creative activities to deepen your spiritual practice and beliefs. Enjoy this period of regeneration as you discover parts of yourself that has previously remained hidden. As this new you continues to emerge, allow yourself to explore whatever you're drawn to with courage and a sense of adventure. Now, to add to this, I understand what the book is saying about the DNA, but some of the masters and the ancestors and the light beings are helping us with certain activations of our DNA right now, whether you're a star seed or you're angelic or you are activated in other ways. There are many masters and teachers, and it's the beautiful ocean. It's all different facets of source. And so with this now, I know, again, we always talk about the light codes, but there's many different codes all over the place that reach different levels of our beings and our understandings. And it really just is down to what we're receptive of and what we're ready to work with. So there's no rules to any of this. There's no right and wrong. And it's not something always that we have to focus on and be conscious of, because it's part of the evolution. It's part of the Trinity. As things begin to change, different levels of our being change. So maybe on some level, the part of us that is in spirit still, because there is still part of us that is in the higher dimensions, our higher self that is feeding into the soul. There may be things that's coming through on that level that our conscious mind is not aware of, but our soul is aware of. Our heart space is activated. And it could be something as simple as noticing a butterfly and it makes you smile that day. It doesn't have to be profound that all of a sudden you're able to look around in your peripheral vision, you're seeing light beings and you're hearing symphonies with unknown orchestras. So it doesn't always have to be in that frame of reference. We don't have to always see it and experience it in that way. It could be something gentle, subtle as a shift of our mood. So I know, again, there's many that are new to the journey. So understand that. I know sometimes there's a lot of people that are a little further on and they get online and they're telling you that, you're going to see angelic beings, or all of a sudden you're going to start hearing your dead cousins, and that's not how it works. It doesn't always work that way for everyone. Some it does. But just know that there isn't any one path through this. And so the butterfly with regeneration is just a beautiful message in the spring, because this is exactly what's occurring in this point for a lot of people that are more open, and they're experiencing the different codes, or they're experiencing I've seen some people that saying they're actually nauseated from some of the energetic shifts. And that is something that they're encouraging me to talk about that happened to me very early on when I first started learning to channel, there were some of the light beings that I explained in other videos that have come in through a vortex. They open the star chakra, and the energy was just so overwhelming that I didn't know how to ground it. I didn't know how to move the energy, so it was more evenly distributed through my person, and it would make me physically sick. I would go run to the bathroom and then go back and hope I didn't lose the connection, and so I had to work with them, because sometimes they have to kind of feel it out. Even with our loved ones, they don't just leave here and automatically understand how to communicate with us. Sometimes, if they're not normally, they weren't here in this lifetime very aware or in tune with things like that. Maybe they didn't believe in the afterlife, or they didn't believe in communicating. There's a set of guides that has to teach them, and sometimes when they're first coming through, the energy is all over the place, and so we can help them, being more conscious here of how to communicate. And the same thing with our guides or light beings, so we don't get sick, is we kind of have to let them get to know our energy centers, and if there's certain things that are not balanced, we have to learn how to balance that and ground a little bit and speak with them. Let them know that that's overwhelming, and ask them to use ease and grace when communicating. Even with the light codes, a lot of people think that they're going to start accepting all this light and it's going to start regenerating and transforming. And it's up to us. It's like a book. You can pick up a book and read any page you want. You don't have to start at the beginning. I mean, the story makes more sense. But if you just want to thumb through it and get an idea of what you're reading, it's the same thing. We can choose to take in information. We do not have to have downloads that are overwhelming, because sometimes they have to learn how to work with us. And I know everybody may disagree with me and say, but they're light beings, they're masters, they're guides. Yes, but at the end of the day, this is our journey, and they're there assisting us. And we have to show them the best way to do that, allowing ourselves to be open to it, but we don't have to turn into the butterfly and skip the steps. If something is making you feel physically sick or unwell, or you're getting these symptoms, speak with the guides or whoever is sending you the different downloads and codes, or you're going through your transformation. Let it be known with grace and ease. And this way, it's a beautiful thing. Yes, sometimes some things are life-altering, and they make you lay on the floor and rock around in tears and wonder what is going on. Why am I like this? And then some days, it feels like, why haven't I been like this? Everything is glorious, and it seems brighter and more vivid, and we notice everything from the smallest bud to the most vast clouds in the sky. So it just matters where we're tuned to. And they're pulling their energy back, so I know this was a little longer than I expected to do, but I would like to say thank you, and I hope go out and watch the butterflies. It's a beautiful, beautiful creature that has so much different meanings for so many people. And it's very healing. So I thank you for allowing me to share this with you today. I wish everyone beautiful peace and much love.